Do you ever hear something where you just can't stay silent? Like, you hear someone give, an idea, and you just have to compose something in response. You just, can't keep it to yourself. You just have to throw it out there. Well, that's how I felt after listening to this TED Talk, and from someone named Charis Kubrin. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kubrin, Kubrin, and it was called The Threatening Nature of Rap Music. And she claims, that she's a rap music expert, and, a researcher, which I don't doubt. I don't doubt her scholarship or credentials or anything. But she told the story of a young man who was arrested, and the police found a piece of paper in his car that had the following lyrics. Glock to the head of. Send $2 to PayPal account. If the amount doesn't reach $50,000 in the next 7 days, then a murderous rampage similar to the Virginia Tech shooting will occur at another highly populated university. This is not a song. And, she's giving this presentation about how, hip-hop culture encourages people to say things like that. These are just things that rappers say to increase the popularity of their songs. It's also very normal for other musical genres to talk about things such as violence and all of these things about just because, you have something like that has been composed for a song, it doesn't mean that it's literally going to happen. And also, the music industry encourages people to compose things like that. But notice there's an emphasis on the word, things like that. It's like the thing you can't stay silent on is this guy went to jail for 5 years. His name is Tosin Odewale, and he's actually commenting on this video. He says, thank you to her for standing up for him. He didn't even know she did a presentation on him. But the big thing is, the reason I said I couldn't stay silent is, she misses the whole point that he crossed the line. In the United States of America, where this was, our freedom of speech laws do not protect threats of immediate violence. And everything that she sort of said is just beside the point. You can't be writing out notes like, I'm going to shoot up a university. This is not a song. It's like, and there's a very high possibility that, he was just being satirical, or he was trying to sound edgy and trying to push the boundaries. But guess what? He didn't just push the boundaries, he overstepped them. And he did something illegal. And part of his 5-year jail sentence was also the result of, finding a firearm in his room, which I guess he didn't have some sort of illegal firearm. I don't know anything about that, but he admitted to the weapons charge, so there must have been something associated with that, about why he was given 5 years in jail. But this whole notion that, this is just hip-hop culture, this is just, a way that, we're just trying to say that the people are only putting this out because there's a market for it, because music executives want that. It doesn't even really matter what you say. He crossed a line. And, it's like, he crossed a line because he turned it into a threat of immediate violence. And she's saying all these things about different music genres like punk and hard rock and even metal, say things like that, but it doesn't matter. You do not have the right to be making threats of immediate violence. I mean, if the police find a paper in somebody's car that says, I'm going to shoot up a university if I don't get money, this is not a song, how are they supposed to ignore that? I mean, literally, how are they supposed to ignore that? Never mind that it's all illegal. I mean, that's one of the things. We have pretty wide freedom of expression laws in America, but it does not protect threats of immediate violence. And, she went on later in the TED Talk to talk about, this whole notion, if you tell somebody, they showed, 2 samples of songs, and they said, shoot a deputy down was one of the lines in them. And they were saying that, that is something that is when you think that it's from a rap song, it sounds like violence. But when you think that it's something from a country song, it's just kind of light and airy and stuff of that nature. And she kind of attributes that to people are kind of afraid of music that's associated with urban blacks, and people are just welcoming to music that is from Southern country whites. Is that a factor? Well, it's like the actual line that I should have read, I think I misquoted, it was shot a deputy down. And there is a huge difference with that. Shot a deputy down, like, I went into town, I shot a deputy down, or whatever it was. That's not a threat of immediate violence. Whether it's a country song or a rap song, she missed the entire point. And, it's a real shame that this guy did go to jail for most likely something that was just creative. But the fact of the matter is, he did something illegal. It's like he put out, lines that were a threat of immediate violence, and he was probably just trying to be, creative and artistic about it in his own way. Man, you might even think 5 years could be excessive, and that's definitely somewhat arguable. But the whole notion that this is just hip-hop culture, this is just, trying to be gangster rap is unacceptable. Because it's illegal, you can't do that. I mean, that's just out of line. And I don't mean this in any sort of personal opinion. It's not protected by law. And if you put in that whole thing, I went to town, shot a deputy down or something, that's not a threat of immediate violence. It's like, it isn't because, it's talking about some sort of fictitious thing that happened in the past. It's like, and even, if it does, like, you change the verb tense or something, it still would not be a threat of immediate violence. There's a huge difference, between saying, shot a deputy down and I'm going to shoot a police officer on February 21st, 2022 at 11:58 p.m. and 31 seconds. It's just like, if someone puts something like that out there, that might not even be a sort of thing that's protected by freedom of expression laws. And now, is there